Okay, what is up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell whilst you're at it so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you go check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat, and also in the description below, you can join discussions, chat with other traders, including myself, find out a bit more about Elevating Traders, the firm, find a discount code there as well. So if you're interested, make sure you go check it out. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone's well. Ben, good morning. Hope you're well. William, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Tashi, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Ahmed, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. What's up, RT? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. Good morning, everyone. So yeah, we've got an interesting, interesting day in the markets. Seeing a bit of movement in terms of USD, and that's where we're going to focus first. And of course, we'll go through a range of pairs. If you do want me to take a look at a certain pair, let me know in the comments in the chat, and I will take a look. But first things first, the dollar. We have seen a bit of upside since yesterday, but we are looking a little bit bearish again. Now, overall, I'm still expecting a pretty big move to the downside for the DXY. Very nice close on the weekly candle last week as we approached this level of resistance. We did just about close above a couple of weeks ago, but very unconvincing. We left a big wick, so I was never really confident with that breakout, and I wanted the price to continue that momentum the following week and see a strong close for me to be bullish on that breakout, but we never did. And last week's candle closed really aggressively bearish, giving us that bearish engulfing candle at that level. So I do anticipate more downside for USD from this area. I have listed a few areas where I'm expecting price to get to. We almost came back and retested that high there on the left, which is still an area which I expect price to come back and retest. Also, this area around 104 500 looks pretty good as well. So the idea with the dollar is that we've broken through structure in the 4-hour chart, seen a lower low. I'm essentially looking for the lower high, which looks like it's in motion, and we are seeing the continuation to the downside. Hasn't been a big enough pullback, or hasn't given me a best entry signal. I was looking at pound USD, and I'll go into that in detail, but didn't quite get the trade I was after. But it looks like dollar might be on its way to the downside now, seeing that first lower high in this bearish sequence. We just about tagged the 50, I'm pretty sure, on this pullback. Okay, no, we didn't. We just missed the 50. It was the pound USD, which just tagged the 50. So it would be nice, actually, if price could actually have one more push to the upside, and that might actually give me the entry I'm looking for in pound. But it looks like we are struggling at the highs there and could be getting ready for a big push down. So I'm pretty bearish on pound USD. It looks like the first lower high is forming. We'll start with euro, and then we'll take a look at pound USD. So it looks like euro is forming that higher low as well. The only reason why I'm not interested in euros is because we haven't broken through structure yet. We haven't taken out that high. Hasn't been a very, very impulsive leg to the upside either. It's been very corrective on the way up, which is not something I want to see. I want to see impulsive candles on price to break through highs and then look for pullbacks of those same moves. That's really what I'm after here for Euro USD. But despite all of that, I'm still very bullish on Euro. We're trading at a very critical level, which looks like price is finding it very, very hard to break through. And of course, with the monthly candle close we got last month as well, it looks like price is really finding it difficult at these prices. So I do expect a bit of a bounce. I think December has got a good chance for closing bullish as well. And if we can hang on to this level, 1.05, there's a very good chance we'll do that and close bullish for the month. So yeah, I'm expecting some upside, but yeah, it's a nice rejection here. It's a possibility for that higher low. It's just missing two confidences. Otherwise, it would be a position that I'll be looking at. And the two confidences are, as I said, the break of structure and a bit more momentum on the bullish leg. It's been a bit too corrective, but it does look like price is holding onto that low. Possibly we might see something like this happen, then get the break of structure. Then we could look at the next pullback after that, which might happen next week sometime. And that could present some really nice opportunities on the retest of the high here, potentially. That could be a nice trade to take back into some of these areas on the left, which is pretty much identical to the levels we just mentioned on the dollar, back to 1.07, 1.077. It is kind of where I'm expecting Euro USD to push towards. So overall, Euro USD very bullish. It looks like that high low, that first high low could be forming at this point here. I do like that wick to the downside and a pretty strong close down the 4-hour chart as well. So it looks like momentum is shifting and Euro's potentially going to see some bullish movement from here. It's missing a couple of confidences, which is why I'm holding back. But hopefully on the next leg, we have a bit more impulsivity, if that's the correct word. The market's a bit more impulse, takes out the high there. That'd be great. And I can look for the next pullback after that. Because if my bias serves me correctly, we should be going for a pretty big move for Euro. Shouldn't be just a bounce for a day. And then we start to go and break through, because then the bigger move is still to the downside. I'm anticipating Euro to really bounce from this level and possibly see a push back to the higher end of the range, back to 1.12, 1.13. So there's a lot of upside potential for Euro. So I'm not too fast about trying to get into the first higher low, because there should be most likely opportunities later on, which hopefully will tick my box a lot better. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Euro. Pound USD, same situation as well. But the characteristics were a little bit better in terms of we had a bit more momentum on that up move, and we did break through the high. It's just that the entry price is giving me not really maximizing the risk to reward, because if I do find an entry here, so you can see that a bit better. So if I do find an entry there, stops a little bit below the low, I'm looking at pretty much not even a one-to-one back into that high. So effectively, from a risk to reward perspective, it doesn't make too much sense me buying that low, because yes, price might push up. We might get back to that high. We might break through the high, which is what I'm expecting price to do. But if price is going to hit the resistance and start coming back down, it doesn't really give me much time to secure profits or at least trade a stop loss to a respectable amount, because I won't be even a one-to-one at that stage. So in terms of the risk reward, not ideal. Therefore, I'm kind of staying away from pound. Maybe if we have one more dip to the downside, that might change things. So if the DXY does have that one more push higher up to go and tag that 50 of the fib and then the sell-off, and of course pound USD does something similar but in the opposite direction, that could present some nice buys, because the risk will look a lot better at that stage. I'll probably get myself a better entry as well. So I'm kind of waiting to see if that will come into play, but it does look like that head and shoulder pattern is starting to form here, which is what we've been talking about. Left head and the right shoulder. Looks like price is about to break to the upside and continue. And in terms of targets for pound, we're looking for price to push back into this swing low here at 1.285. So pretty bullish on pound USD. Hopefully you can have one more correction. If not, maybe I can find some pullbacks later on. But the idea with pound USD is that we're looking for a move back into this zone now, around 1.285. So very, very bullish on pound USD. I do like the looks of dollar CAD as well. I think dollar CAD looks phenomenal, really, because the terms of the downside opportunity on USD CAD is very, very large. Because if this breakout is just a big fake out and price isn't going to sustain these highs and break through them, and this is just price manipulating the highs for a big move down, we could be in for a really big sell-off for dollar CAD. So not convinced with the breakout, so I'm kind of waiting for us to turn around, break structure, and get the sells in. So I'm waiting for price to do something like this, take out this swing low here, because of course this was the swing low, which gave us new highs. So I want that to be broken first to show me, okay, the bears already stepped in, buyers are failing to keep price to the upside. And at that point, I have permission to start looking for selling opportunities, and hopefully something like this develops, maybe a retest of the low here, maybe a retest of this low. It really depends on the break of structure and how things look. But something similar to that is what I'm looking at for USD CAD. And of course, we could see a really big move to the downside, possibly all the way back to these lows. Because if that is a big fake out, we should see a lot of momentum from that. So I would be pretty aggressive in terms of targets, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, this is just what I'm waiting for, which might still take another few days to actually get going. But I'm not interested in the longs. Potentially, again, the buys are still very much on. The market's still seeing higher highs and higher lows. We very much could see something like that, but I'd rather wait for price to make that move, show me a lot more confidence in the breakout. Then I'll be bullish again, but I'm not confident at all with the breakout. So I'm waiting for that structure to break, and hopefully some opportunities to short develop shortly afterwards. In terms of Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, so Aussie dollar, again, just kind of dancing just above my area of interest. So there's not much for me to do. This is where I said I would anticipate some buys from. So look for structured shifting, momentum shifting, evidence of a buy, and I do fancy the buys from that area. But because price is just dancing above it, actually makes it a better opportunity because could get some early buys and then shake them out before a big push up. So I like how price is setting up. At the same time, maybe price is forming the higher low there to push up to the upside, which again just isn't something I'm interested in. We're not trading at an area which will tick my boxes. If I'm looking to long, especially a market that has been falling for quite a while, I need to make sure I'm taking trades at significant areas where logically we can see that bounce. So for Aussie dollar, just a lot of consolidation for the past kind of couple of weeks. Really haven't done much. 0.64 is still the area which I'm anticipating a buy from. But yeah, I'm not really interested in selling Aussie dollar anymore. We've already had such a big drop, coming back to significant areas of support. I do expect the buy to be the bigger move now for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, similar situation, but this one has tested some nice levels. Haven't really broken through structure yet with this one. So that was our previous lower high. What we did was come back and respect it. So not particularly great in terms of the 4-hour market structure, but it is particularly great in terms of the level we're trading at. Really key level of support. As you can see, we just about came back and retested this area. Really nice rejection. So I'm looking for evidence of direction changing, which again, break of highs is just a very effective way to look at that and find some opportunities to take to the upside, because all price has been doing is just bouncing between these range highs and lows. But there again, so I'm just going to naturally expect that to happen again until proven otherwise, really. So yeah, there is some nice upside opportunities here for New Zealand dollar as well. Just not really developed yet, but something like this could form maybe in the next few days, and that could be a nice trade which I look at and get involved with, but not quite ready just yet for me. But as you can see, all the opportunities I'm looking at are all in favor of USD weakness. Until USD does break through that 107 level on the DXY, I'm pretty much retaining that bearish bias. And then if we do take a look at gold and silver, not much has developed for gold and silver yet, just a lot of consolidation. I still think the shorts from yesterday, which we discussed, still look pretty good. Push back into this area. Prices saw a lot of momentum to the downside. Now we're very corrective on the way up, and naturally think this is a nice place for a short. And it does line up pretty well with the resistance level here on the left, around 2678, 2680. A test of that area, I do think you can catch a nice reaction to the downside. In terms of the longer term move for gold and silver, I'm still very bullish on both of them. Both of them are looking for buying opportunities, but I don't really have that at the moment. Yeah, don't really have that buy opportunity which I'm looking for just yet on gold. If anything, the shorts look good. My only tip would be not to be too aggressive in terms of shooting for the moon back to the lows here. It could happen, of course, but there is a lot of obstacles in your way. And we had that big push to the upside, which did break structure, which is not really what you want to see as a seller. So if you can catch some shorts from there, I think a push to that low looks really good, and you can always leave some positions to run because, of course, nobody knows the future. We might actually go and take out the lows there, but at least protect the trade, give yourself a chance to book some profits first, before going for that that home run. But yeah, I think sales around 2678, 2680 look good. In terms of silver, this one I'm bullish on as well. This one I actually know what I'm looking for. It's not there yet. But again, in terms of the market structure, we've got the swing low down here. We've got the swing high all the way up there. And I'm looking at this as the pullback of that swing. And now possibly we're going to see the continuation of that. You can see a healthy pullback into big psychological level 30, double bottomed at 0.618. Looks like momentum is shifting. So it looks like potentially we're going to see price start to push on now. So what I am looking at for silver is some higher highs and higher lows in the 4-hour chart. So something like this would be very nice, and pullbacks afterwards, find a higher low somewhere, and then take the buys to the upside, and of course, so on and so forth, all the way back to 35-ish, just underneath that area. But yeah, I'm very bullish on silver, very bullish on gold. Don't really have an opportunity which I'm looking for yet to long gold. But silver, I do. It just needs to develop a little bit further. Looks like we are forming the lows here. So if that's the case, let's start to break through the highs first, find some higher lows later on, and hopefully take take silver to the upside there, back to 34.8. But as you can see, pretty much all the opportunities I'm looking at with USD all favor USD weakness, and that's not what I meant to do. And that does stem from my DXY analysis and my DXY bias. As long as that stays the same, I do think it will likely going to break to the downside, because if we do break through 107 through here, that is a critical breakout, and that probably will take us back to the highs there. So I'll be very, very bullish if that's the case, but we're not. So pretty bearish in USD, still expecting a bit more downside. What's up? Blessing, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Karis, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Michael, good morning. Darktron, good morning. Hope you were. Yeah, you have been away a while, actually. I was about to say that. But yeah, I hope you're doing good. Which major do I like the best to trade? Good question, Ben. I'll probably say dollar CAD, to be honest. Probably would say dollar CAD. It's still got a long way to go before I do get a trade potentially. Still got a long way to go because it's got to break the lows. I know you're looking at that opportunity, I think, as well. But it's got to break the lows first. It's got to give me some pullbacks afterwards, some lower highs. So yeah, dollar CAD not quite there yet, but because of where we're trading, because of where dollar CAD is trading, there's so much downside potential if dollar CAD is going to fall to the downside. So if you do break structure, especially with some strength, with some momentum, it could lead to some really nice sells. You know, I've talked about the yen pairs having some really big drops, and I expect some big meltdowns for the yen pairs over the next few weeks, few months, really. Dollar CAD could be in that category as well in terms of a really big drop to the downside too, because we're manipulating weekly levels here. So if the market isn't going to sustain this price, we could be in for a really big drop back to the lows here, 1.35, 1.32 potentially. If we're going to see a swing back to the low of the range, could be seeing a push back down to 1.32. So there's just a lot of downside for dollar CAD. So I'd probably say this one is my favorite, but still got a little bit of a way to go. It's got to break structure first before I can even consider shorting, because for all I know, the trend is still up, and possibly you're going to see another move like that. So I need that break of structure. Pound USD probably is a close second, but it just isn't giving me the structure I'm after yet in terms of the swings. It's just a little bit too minute, not really giving me the risk reward I'm after, but it's in a nice area. Structure looks good. So if this one can develop maybe a slightly deeper correction and the risk reward improves, I'll probably give that one a little go. But yeah, I really do like dollar CAD. Lots of downside potential if we are having a big fake out. Okay, Euro JPY, Euro USD. Okay, we'll have a look. Blessing, Will. Okay, took profits, 480 pips, biggest trade I've had. No way. Congratulations, Will. Yeah, 480 pips is especially on an FX pair, not gold, because of course 480 pips on gold is very different from 480 pips on pretty much any FX pair. Of course, yen, there's a lot of pips in it, but yeah, it's still a pretty big move. 480 is not a small move at all. So congratulations on that one, Ben. Yes, I will go for the yen pair shortly. Ahmed, do not worry. I will take a look. GJ will take a look at Karis as well. Yes, I'm still holding CAD yen. The idea for that one is to get back to the lows. I'll go through that in detail in a moment. Let me just go through Euro Yen and Euro USD for Blessing and a couple other CAD pairs. What's up, Lauda? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Regina, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yes, we'll take a look at dollar yen. A lot of yen pairs being requested today. Anyway, I'll go for Euro USD first, and then I'll take a look at Euro Yen and CAD Yen and the rest of them. So yeah, Euro USD, I'm looking for some upside. Again, it's trading at a very critical level here, 1.05. So naturally, I'm bullish bias. Looks like price is hanging on to that level. Had some evidence of price trying to break through, but now we're closing back above. So to me, looks like we're holding that level, and naturally, I do expect to see a bounce. Euro USD has been bearish for so long, so I do expect now us to go for a bit of a relief of that momentum. And I've highlighted some areas here, 1.07, 1.077, as areas where I do expect Euro to get to, get to and retest. So I do like the buys for euro, and does look like price is shaping up for a buy over here. I really like the wick down the 4 hour to the downside, pretty strong close than the 4 hour chart. So things are looking pretty bullish this morning, at least for Euro USD. The only reason why I'm not looking to take the trade here for Euro is because this bullish leg has been very, very corrective. And the second reason is because we haven't broken through structure yet. If we did both of those things, then I would take it because the risk reward would be a lot better. Because at least I'll probably be looking at the high over here, which is more than the 1-to-1 at least. Well, just about 1-to-1, just over 1-to-1 at least. And at least we've got the break of structure and some momentum behind it as well. So I needed those two confluences for me to look to buy euro in terms of fitting my plan. But just because it doesn't fit my plan doesn't necessarily mean we can't see a move higher up. So euro, I'm looking for a push. I've talked about this opportunity here. Maybe we do see the continuation from now with a bit more momentum, with the break of structure. Then hopefully I might be able to take advantage of the next pullback, which might come around next week sometime. But I am looking for that opportunity on the retest somewhere and looking to take price higher. So that's really what I'm looking for euro. It looks like we might be forming that first higher low after this big push down. So that's our higher low there. And if that's the case, I'll be looking to try and find the next one afterwards. But yeah, it does look like euro is trying to push high. I like how that 4 hour candle did close this morning. So yeah, pretty bullish on euro. Do expect to see more upside in the next coming days. In terms of euro yen, yen pairs were very bearish yesterday. We had some big drops pretty much. As soon as I ended the stream yesterday, yen pairs started to drop to the downside, but I still am looking for the bigger corrections. I'm not really interested in the intraday shorts for the yen pairs, even though they do look good and there's been some nice shorts over the past few days. I'm still looking for that bigger pullback for these yen pairs. Euro yen, we're very close coming back to the lows here. This is where I'm looking for euro yen to get to. I mean, in all honesty, I do think we can go a lot further. Probably eventually take out the lows here as well. So I do really expect price to drop, at least 150 really, which is down there. But we're taking it one step at a time. This is definitely the next big level to look for. So I'm looking at some pullbacks for euro yen. The area which I said I was looking for a pullback was, was this area here, but because we have pulled a long way away from that, I do like this area here too. And if I whip out the fib from that last major high to the low, just about lining up with the 50% there as well. So I do like the 160.5 area for euro yen. I also like this area here too. So if the market was to have a slightly bigger pullback, that would be very, very fine by me. But yeah, either one of those areas look like a healthy short from some nice 4 hour levels there. So yeah, euro yen very bearish on. Yen looks very strong at the moment in time. So we're basically looking just to try and fade the highs as price pushes up. We expect the low high to form and we're expecting more downside. So with euro yen, it's just about timing the pullbacks. I think if you're on the lower time frames, the more realistic opportunity you're probably going to see, is price kind of pulling back to some of these areas here and finding some shorts up there. That's probably what's going to make the most sense on the lower time frames because we might not see the bigger pullbacks I'm referring to. That's just kind of what I'm looking at on the 4 hour chart. But there is still a lot of momentum in the market. So we might just see these smaller pullbacks back to maybe 158, 500 and see the continuation from there. The market has been falling very, very well over the past few days. So I would suggest also keep an eye on that if you are on the lower time frames. But yeah, in terms of the direction, for me, it's a no-brainer. Looking for sells. We're approaching support, which means there could be some buys coming back into the market. Sellers exiting, taking profit. Might see a bigger push to the upside from that area. But I do expect further downside eventually. So if you are bullish on euro yen, there could be some buys at these lows here as price has bigger pullbacks and reactions to those levels. But naturally, I don't expect them to go too far before a low high does develop and we start to try and break through them. But for now, momentum still looks good. Shorts look good, depending on the type of pullback you're after. These are like 3 zones to look at. But the plan is find that lower high and short it back to the lows. In terms of my CAD yen position, I'm still holding on to that one. I'm still looking to see if I can find an additional entry. Again, I was looking for the retest of this low. I still am looking for the retest of that low. But as price continues to fall, it's kind of like, will we see the retest? Probably not at this stage. It's going to take a pretty big pullback for us to get all the way up there now. But in all honesty, there isn't another place which I would look to enter from, really. That's the only level that kind of ticks my boxes, and that I'll be happy to short from. I did suggest this area here last week as a nice place to short from on the lower time frames, which still look pretty good as well. So if you are short bias on euro yen, well, euro yen as well, but CAD yen, this level here just above 108 looks pretty good too. And yeah, I'm still expecting a push back down to the 103 mark. So that's kind of where I'm looking to trail my trade towards. This is probably where I'll close my trade completely. I've already closed 50% at that low, but I'll probably close the rest at that low. Or if I'm trailed out, it depends what situation we're in. But at the moment, there's still a lot of momentum in the market. My stop loss is still trailed just above this zone here. I haven't brought it forward. I'm trying to really maximize the room on that trade. I could trade it above the high here, but I want to give myself as much room possible, really, with this CAD yen trade. And I can do that because I have booked profits as well. So it's not like I'm leaving everything on the table. I've already booked profits. So, worst case scenario, still walk away with a profit. But the idea is to, let the trade breathe. There's a lot of potential for this position to keep running. And, trading is all about maximizing your wins and minimizing your losses. And with this trade, looking at the higher time frames, a lot in my favor. So I'm going to have a very relaxed trading stop loss for this one and see if we can get back to 103. And if you do get there, I'll probably close the rest and then call it a day, because we might go through a pretty big bounce there. Then the continuations might come later. And I'll probably look at a whole different opportunity with CAD yen. Probably still on the short side of things though. But yeah, still in CAD yen and still actively looking for some pullbacks. And we have seen a bit of momentum this morning for the yen pair. So I wonder, is this the start of potentially a bigger pullback? Maybe. If it is, I'm ready and waiting. If not, yeah, I'm just going to continue with the original position I had, of course. But hopefully we do see some bigger pullbacks. I'll take a look at pound yen. So yeah, pound yen, again, another yen pair still falling to the downside. The idea with pound yen is that we're looking for price to get back to the lows here at 182. So it's still a long way to go for pound yen 2, which is what I like to see, because if you can find some pullbacks, there's a decent risk reward if you're really trying to stretch the trade. I would be looking at a bigger pullback now for pound yen. It looks like we've just taken out some lows here on the left as well. So the market is a little bit stretched here for pound yen. It's a bit corrective as well. It's not like we're seeing heavy momentum with these sells with the yen pairs. We have seen in parts, but mostly it's getting quite corrective now. So a bigger pullback would be very, very welcoming. I'm looking at this low here still with pound yen. If I take the fib from the high to the low, you can see we've got the 0.5, 0.618 in that region. Really healthy pullback, retest. Hopefully see the next lower high in this bearish sequence. And then again, looking for the next continuation. You got the previous lower highs, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now looking for the fifth. And again, looking for that next leg to the downside. So yeah, overall very bearish on pound yen as well. I can only see more downside for pound yen. I can only see more downside for this pair. Literally no situation would I be looking for buys at all in pound yen, unless we have a very crazy bullish move which goes and breaks structure and takes out this high here. If we do that, yeah, I'll probably rethink things. Even at that point, I might even be looking at a double top here for a big push down. Bit more of an aggressive trade, but that's how confident I am with the bearish bias. So yeah, very, very bearish on pound yen, not looking at buys at all. And this is still my preferred area to short from. Again, in the lower time frames, there's still areas where you can consider some shorts, like for example, this area here, this consolidation. We might come back, retest that area and go for a sell. That could be the situation. It's always difficult to gauge how far the market might pull back. You short a shallow pullback, and then maybe the market pulls back a bit deeper. But the beauty of risk reward is you don't have to be right on the first trade. If you do take a trade, the market fails, the trade fails, let's say, and then you have a deeper correction and you find another entry that of course fits your plan, fits your criteria. If that second trade does play out, if you have a 2-to-1 risk reward, you make back your loss plus more. So the idea of risk reward is really great because you don't have to be right all the time. It's just about timing and making sure that you let your winners run. So in terms of what I'm seeing on the lower time frame, shorts around this area do look good, but I am looking for that bigger pullback for pound yen. So hopefully we can see it happen. And 194 is kind of the area which I'm looking for some entry. So we'll see if that can develop. Okay, I'll have a look at dollar yen as well. Yeah, Cadion's doing phenomenally well, to be honest. Cadion's doing very, very well. Again, that's the benefits of trying to catch the high of a pullback, especially if you're looking for a big swing on the higher time frames, which is kind of what I've been looking to catch more often this year, which is the bigger pullbacks on the higher time frames and holding trades a little bit longer, because I have shifted from taking entries from the hourly to the 4 hour. So it means I'm looking for the bigger trades. I've got bigger stop losses, but of course I've got bigger targets too. So yeah, I'm looking to see if we can get that swing to the downside. Overall, it's looking pretty good. Hopefully you can keep it up. But I'm trying to hope to see if I can get additional entries. But I'm not too bold if I don't get an additional entry for CAD Yen, because my plan is just to find an entry period on the yen pairs, because they all look equally as good at this stage. It's just about which one pulls back the best, fits my criteria, and yeah, so I can find another trade. But yeah, Kajian looking pretty good. Hopefully, we can get pushed to 103. I'll probably look to close the trade there, to be honest. Hey, what's up, CS Integrated? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good, my man. Welcome to the stream. If you guys are enjoying the content, by the way, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, all that good stuff does really help out. And of course, it keeps you up to date with everything in terms of the streams, in terms of the content, videos, analysis. So if you do find everything useful, educational, please be sure to show some love, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell. So you don't miss out on any streams or uploads. But to appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far. Yeah, but I will take a look at dollar yen. Hey, what's up, Ninad? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well too. I appreciate that, Lauda. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. Hey, what's up, Mo Mind? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Dollar Seat Chef. Okay, we'll take a look as well. First, let me head over to dollar yen, and then we'll take a look at your Dollar Seat Chef. So, dollar yen, another yen pair which has been moving pretty smoothly. Really nice move to the downside, but I am looking at some pullbacks now for dollar yen. It's just about whether we'll get the deeper pullbacks we're after. I keep saying that, but that's literally the truth with the yen pairs, because I know with the shorts with the yen pairs, you could really just fall out the sky and not see much pullbacks. So that's my only worry with them. But in terms of the quality of the setups, looking at the higher time frames, really strong bearish candle closes this week. So I think there's a very high chance that this week as well, we're probably going to see another bearish close. So yeah, really looking for the shorts there on dollar yen and the rest of the yen pairs too. The original trade idea for dollar yen is the retest to the low, and that still is the idea. But after the big meltdown we've had and the continuation we had as well last week, it's difficult to see price having such a big pullback to get there. If it does happen, great. I'll be looking for entries. But more realistically, we probably might see something like this with dollar yen, a pullback to this area, which is 151,500. And from there, get the continuation. Either which way, we're just looking to catch that lower high. You know, that is really the plan with dollar yen. We've broken restructure very well, taken out this low very well, taken out this low very well. Of course, we broke for the trend line a while ago, so that bullish channel has been put to bed. Now we're looking to find that next lower high in this sequence, and that's really what I'm looking for. But realistically, it may more. There's a probably bigger chance we probably see it here, just because of how bearish everything has been. So keep an eye on 151,500, also 150,500. Should we see the deeper pullback? But overall, for dollar yen, I'm looking at a push all the way back down to 140. So Again, this is why I like the yen pairs. Not only is it a good opportunity, but if they do play out, we're looking at some ginormous moves here back down to some weekly structures, daily structures here. So that's why I do really like the yen pairs, because there's a big sell to be had if they are going to continue the drop we had in July. Because the theory is we've had a pullback and now we're going to see the continuation of that same drop. So there's a lot of downside on the cards here for dollar yen. Now it's just about finding a healthy pullback and some short. So I'll keep a close eye on 151.5, 153.5. Then, yeah, looking to short that back down. Of course, in terms of targets, that's up to you guys how aggressive you want to be. If you pull back from here, you can take it back into the low and call it a day. Maybe you want to look for the home run and trail stops, or maybe you want to look at some areas here on the left. That's really up to you. But in terms of solid places for entries, those two areas do look decent. So yeah, hopefully that made sense on dollar yen. I will go through dollar CHF next for you. No problem. Yes, I will take a look at the DXY for you. Yeah, I'll go take a look at the DXY. No problem. Cease integrated. No problem, Will. Happy to help. Become a real trader. Hey, appreciate it. I love that message. But yeah, I mean, in terms of trading, guys, a lot of it is down to your personal work you put in. Of course, you learn from others. I learn from others, and the people I learn from others too. So you're all learning from other people, but at the end of the day, it does take a lot of will. It takes a lot of fight, a lot of determination from the individual, the trader. So a lot of that is down to the trader themselves, and you have to pat yourself on the back if you are seeing progress, because it's a very, very difficult profession. It's a very difficult profession, and not a lot of people eventually do see a return from the market. But yeah, if you persist, especially if you've been trading for 2, 3, 4 years, eventually you'll start to see results come in. But yeah, it's very, very difficult, but you do have to pat yourself on the back as well. Anyway, I'll go through dollar CHF. What's up, Mo? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Kwame, what's up? Good morning. Hope you're well. Aussie yen, okay. Let me go through dollar CHF. So dollar CHF, not my favorite dollar pair, I have to admit. Not my favorite dollar pair, just because I don't have really a good read of it, like some of the other USD pairs I have. With this one, I'm kind of looking at it as a bit of a range, really. Got equal highs over there, equal lows here, and the market's kind of just in the middle, or in the middle of all of that. So naturally not really trading at any area of significance, or any area which I will look to get involved at. I can see we have come back to this area, small area of supply. We did see some momentum come from that area. We have tapped into that region. So we've had a bit of a reaction, but I'm not necessarily expecting a lower high here to develop and a push back down to the lows. It's not as a significant level, which I would expect that move from. It could happen, but yeah, it's not that type of area, or the structure itself is not developed enough for me to be expecting lower highs. If anything, for dollar CHF, I wouldn't be surprised for another move back to the high end of the range. So that's why I'm not a big fan of dollar CHF. But I have to say, in terms of the 4-hour chart, it does look market is about to turn around. We do have this structural low here, which the market didn't really break structure, kind of equaled the low. I say that because we didn't really see a candle close below this wick here. For break of structure to be for a break of structure to be valid, I do need to see price close below the low or the high. We didn't really get that. We did gap below, but we didn't close below in a bearish candle. So for me, price is still respecting that low, but it does look like we are seeing a head and shoulder pattern fall with the left, with the head, and of course with the right shoulder there. It would be nice if we could pull back a little bit deeper and go test that same resistance level. But it does look like price is really struggling, and that's a pretty strong close on the 4-hour chart as well. So potentially we could be seeing a bit of a bearish trend form now for dollar CHF. I would say that trading is a little bit aggressive because the trend is still very much up. We haven't actually taken out the lows yet, and we're not even retesting the high there of that prior left shoulder. So The more conservative trade would be waiting for price to actually have that move to the downside and then looking for some pullbacks afterwards. Of course, with this trade, you're a bit lower down. You're not selling at as a higher price, and you might always see the retest. So there's a possibility that this trade doesn't really come around potentially, but there's a lot safer opportunity. And at that point, you've already got the confirmed break of structure and the lower high in the market as well. So the shorts look a lot more developed and a lot more promising at this point in time. But yeah, it does look like a lower high is developing and possibly a move down. I'm not quite sold on dollar CHF because, like I said, we're in the middle of a range, not really testing any key areas, so I'm not liking it. And then you said you're going to buy for dollar CHF at 0.88530. So you're going to buy around here somewhere. Where's your stop loss for that position? Is it below the low here, or you have a different place for it? So yeah, I'm not really bullish either on dollar CHF. If anything, I would be more bearish on dollar CHF because I'm still pretty bearish on USD. Anyway, but because we've had a nice uptrend here, but it looks a little bit fatigued, it looks a little bit tired. So yeah, I would wait for that break of structure. Then this opportunity becomes a really nice trade. In terms of the buys, I can still see prices still forming higher highs and higher lows. So I understand you're looking to follow that trend there, but like I said, it's not really trading at a confident area, which I would keep looking to buy from. And the fact that I'm still pretty bearish in USD doesn't make me want to buy dollar CHF anyway. 88218. 88218. Okay, so your stop loss is somewhere around here. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that trade, but of course, as long as you're taking the trades based on your plan, based on your analysis, and based on your criteria, see the trade through. But I'm not biggest fan of that trade because number one, the stop loss, I'd prefer it to be underneath the low just to give myself a bit more wiggle room. Of course, I know that means widening the stops and having a bigger stop loss, and therefore the risk reward would be a bit more skewed. But that's where I'd be comfortable with a stop loss. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of how the structure is looking either. It's not necessarily a healthy trend anymore. So that's why I don't like it. But hey, just because I don't like the trade doesn't mean it doesn't play out as well. So of course, see out the trade as long as you took it for the right reason. That's really the important thing. But this is kind of what I'm looking at for dollar CHF. Okay, so I'll go through Aussie yen. Was I supposed to go for a different pair? I can't remember. If I've missed out a pair someone has mentioned, drop it down in the chat and I'll get to it. But I will go through Aussie yen next. I'll probably go through a couple more of the yen pairs whilst I'm at it. All right, take care, Will. Have a good one, my man. We'll see you tomorrow. No problem, Ninad. Appreciate what you do for us. Appreciate it. Appreciate you tuning in for the stream as well. But I'm glad you find the streams useful. Antonio, what's up? Good afternoon. Hope you are well. So yeah, I'll go through Aussie yen. See a pullback on the 2 hour. Looks good for another opportunity. So I assume you're looking for shorts, Kwame, because you're looking at pullbacks. So I'd imagine you're looking to short the market. So yeah, the market is still very bearish for Aussie yen. And of course, I'm looking for a deeper pullback, which I'll go through in a second. But we can see that in terms of the intraday price action, we're seeing some really nice, clean low lows and lower highs. Looks like the market's seeing some upside, possibly coming back into this area. If we drop to the hourly chart, you can see a nice area of supply there. Where we stopped for a few hours before a nice big drop to the downside. Looks like we're at least already coming back to retest the prior low here anyway. So yeah, in terms of Aussie yen, we are testing some nice areas where we could see the next leg to the downside, back to these lows and a lot further. That's the key thing with the yen pairs, is that there's still so much bearish momentum in the market, and we probably are going to keep respecting these areas and continue going lower. If we do go and break structure, however, then yeah, the bigger pullback I'm after will probably come into play at that point. But the break of structure is a long way away. And at the moment, the market's still respecting structure and still showing a lot of momentum in the intraday time frame. So I think in terms of the pullbacks, I like the area we're trading into. It makes a lot of sense. And if I go to the daily chart, the idea with Aussie yen is that we've broken out the consolidation, and we've seen a pretty big drop after that. So the plan I have with Aussie yen is very much just looking for the pullback of that breakout, which would align with the retest of this low. Unfortunately, it looks like the market's just going to keep falling, but it would be nice if you can come back, retest that low. And again, in terms of targets, I'm looking at push back into the low here at 94. So I'm very bearish on Aussie yen. In terms of the intraday price action, it looks good, I have to admit. And we might just not see that bigger pullback I'm after. If it does happen, great. I'm there. I'm ready to take trades. If not, these are the areas you're looking at, which is 97.3, 97.8. And you're looking to take shorts. If price does break structure and takes up the high here, then yeah, we might actually get that bigger pullback. So that's kind of what I'll be looking for. But yeah, overall, very, very bearish on Aussie yen, and I do think more downside is likely. So I do agree with you. The short opportunity can arise there. I'd wait for a shift of momentum though. At least a nice bearish engulfing to indicate, okay, momentum stepping back into the market before finding some entries. But yeah, we are trading in some nice areas for some shorts. So I do definitely agree there. Appreciate that, Artie. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And yeah, appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for Aussie yen, and of course New Zealand yen. You got literally copy and paste, to be honest, in terms of the opportunity. Price action is literally the same thing. Go to the daily chart. What do we have? A lovely consolidation. Price is finally broken out of that consolidation, and now I'm looking for the retest of that same consolidation for the continuation back into the low, which is down here. So that's very much the plan with New Zealand yen, and it's literally copy and paste with Aussie yen as well. I prefer Aussie yen slightly to New Zealand yen. The breakout was a little bit more impulsive. So if I drop to the full hour, you can see the breakout has been a little bit corrective. It's cleared it by some distance, but it's been a bit corrective. If I quickly jump over to Aussie yen here, you can see the breakout had a little bit more force to it. And that's one of the key things I do look out for on the breakouts, is if momentum is there, and how far we clear the level which we're breaking out of. In this case, we cleared it by some distance and we cleared it by some momentum. So I know if that price does come back for a retest, there's a good chance it's going to hold. Same thing with New Zealand yen as well. We cleared it by some nice distance, but it's just not as impulsive. So therefore, it's not as good of an opportunity. It's not as higher quality. But despite that, it still looks like a good trade if we were to get back there for the retest, see a low high continue. But if I do drop to the hourly chart, you can see we still do have some nice structure here, which we could very much come back and retest and be on our way. So I think still keep an eye out for that for New Zealand yen too. If we're going to continue with this bearish structure and these lower highs, then we very much could come back and form another one of those and continue. So yeah, very bearish for the yen pairs from an intraday level, from a swing level. Yeah, everything is pointing down. Structure still sustaining, still seeing consecutive lower low and lower high. So as long as we stay in that structure, looking for shorts on the lower time frames makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that. And let me go take a look at CHF JPY as well. So CHF JPY, I actually really like this one. It's actually surprisingly one of my favorite yen pairs if I do see a good pullback. And the reason I say that is because we're trading at all-time highs. And for any FX pair that's trading at all-time highs, all-time lows, and we're looking to try and fade that move on a reversal and looking for signs of that reversal. So I'm not looking to jump straight in, of course not. Otherwise, I'll be probably losing money consistently for the past year, really much, if I kept trying to short after the break of that high. But we have created new all-time highs. These are the previous all-time highs for CHF JPY. And now I'm expecting price to correct that and come back inside that range high. So this is the move I'm expecting price to do. And it looks like it's coming into fruition. Really nice bearish close down the monthly chart as well. So dropping back down to the lower time frames, like the 4-hour chart, this to me looks like the first lower high in this bearish sequence. So we have the high over there, Markets pull back, another high over there. So I'm expecting us to push back to this low, and of course, eventually back to the all-time low, the all-time high price as well, which is this one here. So in my book, there's a lot of downside for CHF JPY, and again, it's just about timing it correctly. I do like the retest of this low here. Again, will we see the retest? It's a big question. We're gonna have to see a pretty big pullback for that to come into place, but if it does come into place, I'm definitely there, ready and waiting. But again, if I do drop to the hourly chart, you can see the structure the market's still making, and overall, we're still seeing consistent lower lows and lower highs. And of course, you've got the low here too. So yeah, overall, CHF JPY is still very consistent with the lower highs. Very much to respect either of these levels and continue. If we do go and break structure, great. It means the bigger pullback I'm looking for is probably going to come into play. If we don't break structure, we just start respecting those areas, then yeah, we're probably going to get the sell. So keep an eye on 169.600 and 170.200 as well. But I like CHF JPY because we're all-time high. So I do expect us to correct ourselves. And if you go back and look at pretty much all FX pairs, well, maybe apart from the exotics, but majors and minors, when we do create all-time highs and all-time lows, the market does eventually revert back on itself, and it looks like we're starting to see that with CHF JPY. So the sales could be very big for this one. Yeah, sure. We'll take a look at some indices, Ben. No problem. All right, Regina, have a good one. Going to work hard, or hardly work? That doesn't even make sense there. But yeah, have fun at work. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, we'll take a look at some indices. So US 30. So yeah, US 30 is still pretty much the same situation in terms of looking for a pullback. Now, overall, the market is very bullish. We're in a bullish climate on pretty much all the higher time frames. So the idea is now we're looking for a pullback just for the market to keep pushing. Because one thing I must say for the indices is that we are very consistent in terms of the way we pull back, which is what I really like. Because although we do have the moments where we do fly and move in a straight line, the market 90% of the time will have a decent pullback, at least to the 50% before continuing. All you have to do is look at the prior pullbacks here, look at the pullbacks there. Yeah, it just always kind of happens really with the S&P, with US 30 and the NAS. We see pullbacks all the time, and I probably would expect with other indices as well. So yeah, I'm expecting a drop at some point here. The market is kind of consolidating right now. Whether we break to the upside and see another bullish leg and then pull back, or we pull back straight away, it's always going to be very difficult to tell what the market's going to do, next. What I can say is though that the market is pretty tired. We're losing some momentum, as you can see with all those wicks there. So we are likely to pull back at some point, but I wouldn't be looking to try and take advantage of that in terms of selling the high. Very easily could break higher first before pushing back down, but as things stand, this is kind of the area which I'm looking to go long. Let me just remove some of these lines here, which we don't need anymore. So if I whip out the Fibonacci from the low to the high, I do like this area here. Brief pause in the market, and of course lines up pretty well with my 0.5 and 0.618. So to me, that looks like a really nice place for a long. 43,800, just below 44K, I would say. So this is really where I'm looking to get involved with US 30 for the next leg, for new highs and so on and so forth. As long as we stay above the swing low here, which is 42,800, as long as we stay above this swing low, I am bullish on US 30. If we do take out that low, still bullish overall, but I do think we'll probably go for a bit of a counter trend move there, probably a deeper correction at that point, and then maybe eventually snap bullish again. So we might go for a bit of a bearish phase, which means maybe some short-term sells and some longer-term swings could be developing. But for now, we're still comfortably above structure, so no need to worry about that too much. And this is really what I'm looking for the buy. In terms of like S&P and Nas, so if you go to S&P is similar situation as well. New highs created, taking out that high. Now looking at the pullback, again, at least want price to be around the 50. Not really any gray area, I would say, around that, around the 50, the 0.618. I do like the high here. Should we see a deeper pullback to this level, that'd be very nice, but we might probably see price just move halfway before continuing. But either which way here, with S&P, we're likely to still see higher prices. Markets just created new all-time highs, probably gonna have another pullback, then create some more new all-time highs. Again, looking at the daily, weekly charts, everything is still bullish about the S&P, firmly in a bull market right now. So best thing to do in a bull market is buy the dips. So wait for the next dip to come around and find some buys. I do like this level here still. It's probably the most obvious and clear level for me. But yeah, expecting more upside there for S&P. And of course, if you take a look at the NAS 100, yeah, similar situation to this one, although we haven't taken up the highs yet. So I wouldn't be whipping out Fibonacci just yet from the low to the high yet. But what I can say, there could be some nice intraday trades if we do have one more pullback, because the chance of us taking out this high here is pretty high, extremely high, of us seeing some new highs there. So the market does dip and retest this area. I think that's a really nice place for a buy intraday. And then you can look to hold that to take out some new highs. Because although I wasn't very convinced with NAS because of how corrective everything was looking, we've now finally seen some momentum break the high and look a lot more convincing. So if the market was to pull back again, retest some structure, I'll be very confident that the price is going to probably hold structure and create new highs above that. So yeah, pretty bullish on the US indices. They look like they're about to create some new highs as well. NAS is flirting with the idea, but if we can pull back one more time, there could be some nice opportunities to buy into that and ride that to new highs. But yeah, overall, expecting just dips in the indices and then more upside. As always, okay, I'll take a look at the DAX as well, then we'll go through Ethereum for Antonio. So the DAX creating new highs. Wow, very, very impressive stuff, I must say, from the DAX yesterday. Creating highs like it's nothing, really impressive price action. So yeah, I mean, the fact is, when we create all-time highs, there's nothing really for me to do apart from wait for the next pullback, especially in indices. If this was FX, I could try and look for some reversal opportunities here to take it back down, but in indices, I will never do that because all the market does is push up. So it's almost suicidal to be doing that on a consistent basis anyway. So I would only be looking for market to dip and pull back before finding the next bullish leg. I'll probably wait for a bigger breakout before I look for the retest of the high here. But I do like the retest of this high. Should we see that happen, if the market can have a bigger pullback to that low, just about lines up with the 50 there as well. So I would be happy around 19,400 for some buys. Like I said, and I want price to break a little bit higher, continue a little bit further before I would look for the retest of this high. But all in all, very bullish market, creating new highs. The chance of us creating a new high low and a new high now is still pretty high there. So it's about timing the pullbacks. 19,500, 19,450 looks good. And yeah, from there, I'll expect price to go in and create some new highs. So that's really the plan there with the DAX there as well. But yeah, very bullish across the board for the major indices. In terms of Ethereum, so yeah, Ethereum having a bit of a breather. Again, the key thing with Ethereum, as I said yesterday and last week as well, is the break of this channel here. And the fact is, we need to stay above the channel for everything to be all okay. If price does break back below 3,400, gets a strong close below like that, that is a really big alarm bell, and I would be very scared for Ethereum if that does happen. If we can stay above 3,400, 3,500, use that support in fact, then yeah, it could be game over in terms of a really big push, and probably to go back and attack the all-time highs really. So Ethereum could be onto something really big if we do stay above that channel, because we've had some nice corrections in the past. It looks like we're starting to commit to the upside now. I just don't want to see price break back inside that range. If we do, that's not a good sign at all, especially for crypto, because it relies so much momentum. If we start to lose that and break back inside channels, and that becomes a big fake out, at that point I'm looking at a really big sell. So yeah, stay above that high. Buys look good. If I drop to the 4-hour chart, we do look a bit corrective, I must say. It's not like we're seeing really impressive momentum anymore. We just have, we had a nice leg there and a nice leg there as well, but we are becoming a bit corrective. So I do think Ethereum's probably got some downside in the tank, and then we might push the upside from then onwards. But yeah, 3,400 really, really pivotal for Ethereum. Whilst we're on the topic, let me have a quick look at BTC, what we're cooking over there. Okay, so Bitcoin looking a little bit bearish this morning as well. So yeah, Bitcoin might be doing a similar situation in terms of coming back to retest that range there. Brief consolidation. If I go to the daily chart, as you can see, brief consolidation before we did break higher. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to come back and have a deeper test of that consolidation before pushing to the upside. I think 100K is still very, very likely with Bitcoin. It's very laughable how we got to 99 point something, was it 99.8 or something like that, just before hitting the 100K mark. It's almost comical, really. But I do think we're likely going to hit it. Price is just having a bit of a pause, as crypto does, as any market does. It's not going to move in one straight line. We need to have those pauses for price to stabilize before seeing the next leg to the upside. So unless anything drastic happens, like a big meltdown through this area, that would definitely make me skeptical if we are going to push up. But as long as we kind of stay within this region, stay corrective, then I do think we can break to the upside here. Bitcoin might be going through a bit more of an extended pullback before we go and see that next bullish leg. So that's really what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. A bit of a build up, bit of a pause, and then the follow through. I think 100K is still very likely to be hit. So if you're looking to trade Bitcoin, you're trying to find that next higher low, and we might kind of sweep these lows first and then bounce. Maybe we do a double bottom before pushing, but that is really what I'm after. So yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum still looking pretty bullish to me. Still expecting higher prices, but we're losing momentum, so we could consolidate maybe for a few days. And I wonder, maybe we might, I don't know, I think historically Bitcoin is pretty bullish in December or the end of the year. But I would expect the market to drop a little bit as we approach Christmas and New Year's. So I don't know, maybe we might see some momentum till like mid-December, mid-late December, then things will dry up and kick back in January. Or do we keep pushing? I don't know. I know Bitcoin does have some big moves towards the end of the year, but I don't know in December particular if we have big moves. But yeah, things still look pretty bullish. So overall, at some point anyway, expect us to keep pushing up. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with crypto and that world of things. But yeah, it's been a bit quiet for me, to be honest, in terms of trades. I mean, I've been pretty busy, to be honest, but I've been sitting on that CAD position. I was stopped out of silver for a small win last week. I haven't found opportunity since then. I would say the closest market to give me a trade. Actually, no, I did get a trade on New Zealand CHF. I just missed it. I missed the entry. But the closest market to give me a trade right now is definitely pound CAD, and it looks very, very good. So pound CAD, although I've been going on a lot about the yen pairs, and rightly so, they look amazing. But pound CAD still looks like a really good opportunity. And if I can find a good entry, I'll definitely look to take that this position. The idea of pound CAD is that we formed equal highs over here. In fact, we just about pinched the high with this wick there. So it's like the market tried to continue but failed. We spilled to the downside with a lot of momentum, taking out the lows here. And now I'm looking for a bigger correction for the market to now form a lower high and now a big drop back into the low. So the plan is to find that next lower high Now, I said I'm kind of waiting for price to come back into this region here before I start to look for entries, and that still is the plan. I like how corrective we have become, because the original pullback was pretty impulsive, so I wasn't really a big fan of that. But now we've become a little bit more corrective on our way to the upside, which is what I like to see. Price slowing down, bullish momentum slowing down, more wicks to the upside as well, which is always a nice sign. So the chances of price suddenly doing a big move like that is now pretty low, and the chance of us at some point rolling over is pretty high now. So I'm looking for probably another push to the upside, something like that. Strong bearish engulfing candle to step into the market. That would be my entry signal. Stops above the high, and then hopefully nice swing back to that level. Hopefully 1 to 2s, 1 to 3s, 1 to 4s, maybe even more than that as well. So the risk reward is there with pound CAD, and it is at the moment my number one opportunity to trade, because it's very close to my entry. The yen pairs are nowhere near the entry areas which I'm looking to get involved with. So I have to be patient with them, but pound CAD is very much almost there. So looking for some shorts on pound CAD. I also like euro CAD as well if it does develop, but pound CAD looks a bit more developed, a bit more cleaner. I spoke on this yesterday. Overall, if I look at the daily chart for euro CAD, it's very, very flat, very sideways. But if you look at the daily chart for pound CAD, you've got a much better trend. The market will be trending very well to the upside. I just hit the mic there. Hopefully didn't deafen anyone. So yeah, the market has been trending very well to the upside. So once we do top and hit that high in reverse, which I expect we have done, we're probably going to see an equally nice trend back down again, or some type of trend back down. Whereas EuroCAD situation is just a lot of fluctuation and just kind of bouncing between level and level. So it's not as clean. But again, EuroCAD and PoundCAD are very similar markets that probably do the same thing as well. But what I would say about EuroCAD is that we do have a very big level here of support, which of course will be turn resistance at 1.49. So in terms of the level I would be shorting at, it's actually probably a better trade in terms of EuroCAD, because it's a really big level and a great place to put a trade at. But just because of the market conditions, I like PoundCAD a lot more. So yeah, EuroCAD looks good. I'll keep an eye on 1.49. But overall, my main focus will be to take some shorts on there on PoundCAD. Hopefully get some entries there. Let me take a look at the DXY, because I was meant to go through that a while ago, but completely forgot. But yeah, in terms of the dollar, yeah, possibly dollar, possibly that could be what we're seeing indices and crypto markets ready to pull back before they rise. Yeah, I think that's one thing people need to keep in the back of their heads as well, is that no market's going to stay bullish forever, and even if it is going to stay bullish forever, there will be dips and pullbacks. Rightly so. So a lot of people do get caught up in all that momentum, which we've seen with the indices, which we've seen with crypto especially. And you kind of get caught up in that, and you kind of forget that pullbacks exist, and the market kind of needs to do that for everything to stay, relatively sustainable. So, it might be time for pullbacks to happen. But it doesn't mean necessarily that you're looking for reversals or the trend is over. So it might be time for pullbacks on crypto and indices. That's a very good point. But yeah, in terms of the dollar, as I suggested at the start of the stream, I'm looking for a big push to the downside here. It does look like a lower high is developing now for a right shoulder. I want the price to pull back a little bit deeper and tag the 50. So it would be nice if the DXY was to push up one more time, tag the 50, and then push down, because we'll kind of do two birds in one stone, tag the 50 and also tag the resistance there on the left, which is that lower high there, taken across. So I would like to see that happen with the dollar, and possibly that might give me a trade in pound to long as well. But overall, in terms of what I'm expecting there for the DXY for dollar, is of course this head and shoulder pattern, which looks to be forming now. We'll see how this 4-hour candle does close here in 45 minutes. But overall, to me, it's looking pretty bearish. And in terms of what I'm expecting, there's a push back to the lows here and a push back to the highs there, and the highs here to 105.3, 104.5 is the areas I'm expecting dollar to make its way towards. So yeah, very bearish in USD. We had a really strong close last week on the weekly candle, strong bearish engulfing candle. So that's really set the tone for this week for me. So I'm only looking at downside back to the lows really. So of course, pairs like Euro USD, I'm expecting upside. Pound USD, I'm expecting upside. I haven't really got a solid entry or solid trade set up on them just yet. But I am expecting upside on both of them. Dollar CAD waiting for a nice big break to the downside here. Still a long way to go, but if we can break the low, that'd be absolutely fantastic. I'll be looking at some lower highs and some retests for some shorts, but not quite there yet. For USD CAD, we still need to break the low first before I can take some shorts. And then for Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, I'm looking at some buys for both of them. Aussie dollar, I want price to fall a little bit further before I do stop to look for any entries. 0.64 is still the area which I'm looking for a bounce from. As we can see, evidently a very big level in the past, looking for that to react again. Of course, I'm not necessarily looking for a swing all the way back to the highs there, but at least a reaction, maybe halfway of the range, looks promising. The 4-hour chart, all we're kind of seeing now is just consolidation. So it's kind of a decent setup because now it's probably sucking a lot of traders buying and selling, stops above the high, stops above the, below the low. So possibly now we might, go take those orders out for a push back into that low, and then we might see the push to the upside from that bigger level. So I actually like how price is actually setting up for Aussie dollar, but still a lot of things need to happen. We need to get there first, need to break structure, show evidence of momentum shifting. I'm not going to just jump straight in, but how everything is looking is setting up pretty well. And same thing with the USD too. I like the buys of this one. We're testing a really big level in the daily chart. If I quickly just zoom out, as you can see, back into such a major swing low. Nice reaction a few days ago, dropping back to the 4-hour chart. The only thing we're missing really is that break of structure, which is taking out this high, since this is the high that gave us the new low. I want to see price go and break through that, give me a strong close, and then I'll be looking for my high lows afterwards. Unfortunately, we don't have that quite yet, but hopefully that develops this week. Maybe markets are waiting for NFP to get the ball rolling, but hopefully we can break structure at some point, and then maybe I can look at some higher lows maybe next week and look to take this one at least back into the high down the left, but hopefully a lot further as well, because if USD is going to sell from 107, I do expect a pretty big drop and not just a small reaction. So yeah, New Zealand dollar, hopefully some longs do develop there as well. Like I said, for gold and silver earlier on, I don't really have a setup for gold. Gold is still very corrective. I'm still pretty bullish on gold, but I don't really have an opportunity to buy it just yet. What I do have is a nice sell opportunity, though. As you can see, really nice push to the downside, very aggressive. I think if price was to retrace and pull back into that same area, there could be some nice shorts there to take it right back down again. So I think gold looks like a nice short. It's just not really a trade that I'm looking for. I'm still pretty bullish on gold. We took out the highs last week on this high here as well, which is a sign of more bullish momentum to come. And we also got some nice confidence of retesting that high, dragging that across. We can retest it there as well. So I do think this is a really nice place to short from, but I wouldn't look to hold the trade too far because, like I said, I do think the bigger move is to the upside for gold. Then if we quickly touch on silver, I do like silver. Silver is something that I think is slowly developing, slowly taking shape. Again, as I suggested earlier, got the low down here, you got the high over there. This is the pullback we've had of that swing back into the 0.618. Looks like the market's forming a really nice double bottom here. So once, second time there. So now all I'm waiting to do, if I just move the fib out of the way, is for price to break structure to the upside, and then I'm looking for that next high low afterwards, or the one after that. Depends which looks clean, which fits the criteria, of course. I'm looking to try and find those high lows to take silver back to the upside, back to 34.8, and preferably beyond that as well. So silver's taking shape. I've got a plan for silver. Conditions look good. High highs and high lows look good. Momentum looks good. Just need to see some evidence in the 4-hour chart of bullish momentum, bullish structure developing before I can find some entries and take some trades. So that might take a few days to form. But with gold, on the other hand, there's nothing really there for me unless we start taking out structure again to the upside. But yeah, silver looks like we're roaring up. Looks like a nice double bottom is forming there. So yeah, naturally pretty bullish on silver and expecting a pretty big move to the upside. But as you can see across the board on all those USD markets, I'm looking for USD weakness. That's still my main play with USD. Again, USD markets aren't my favorite markets right now. If you've been listening to the streams for a while, you know that is definitely with the yen. So yen is really where my main focus is, but some USD pairs are slowly taking shape. Silver's one slowly taking shape. Dollar CAD slowly taking shape if you break structure to the downside, and pound USD as well might develop there too. All right, Ben, take care, my man. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow. But anyway, have a good one. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD. In terms of the crosses, so I'll go take a look at some of the crosses. We just touched on a couple CAD pairs. So I said pound CAD and Euro CAD look good. Pound CAD is definitely what I'm looking to sell. So I'm looking for something like that, which hopefully can develop later this week. The two other CAD pairs, Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD, not as fond of these ones at the moment. Right now, all I'm seeing is a very corrective bullish channel here with Aussie CAD on the daily chart, which isn't giving me a lot of confidence to buy this one. At least I'm looking for a big move to the downside because I'm looking at this trend coming to an end. Because this isn't the characteristic of a healthy trend. I want to see clean impulsive moves, corrective moves back down, clean impulsive moves, corrective moves back down. And this is a characteristic of a healthy trend. Here we're seeing a lot of corrective moves up, a lot of corrective moves down. There's not a lot of momentum in the market. Very impulsive move down as well. So the market is just all over the place, especially with the high time frame trend also being to the downside too. There's another reason why we could spill over. So really, I'm waiting for price to break out that trend line, and then I'm looking to take some shorts afterwards. I thought I was going to draw my trend line there, but I didn't. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm waiting for Aussie CAD. So if I draw that trend line back in, if we can break the low, that'd be fantastic, and then hopefully you can find some shorts underneath. We have been pretty consistent with the lower highs, I must admit. We had major one over there, another major one over there as well. If we can go and break the low, that'd be nice, and put in that next one. That's kind of the trade I'm looking to take. There's a possibility we could push up and form another lower high in this area and then try and look for a short, something like that. But I think it's very aggressive given the fact that you're looking to short a lower high in the middle of that channel where equally we could be forming a higher low, to really push back to the highs there as well. So otherwise, I would be looking for a lower high in that region, but I'm waiting for that trend line to break first before I do look for the next lower high. I think it's a much safer, conservative trade. But it makes sense based on the market structure because, I could be wrong. Maybe we do see a big push to the upside. It's a similar situation with New Zealand CAD as well. I do like New Zealand CAD to the downside too. It looks like we were breaking out at one point. But as you can see, as price is developing, it doesn't look like we're quite getting that break to the downside anymore. Looks like we got a bit of a fake out there, which is an indication of probably more upside. Fake outs normally do mean prices fake to go one way, trapped participants in one direction to move the other. And now we possibly could be seeing a big push to the upside. We still do have a trend line to battle with, though. This bearish channel here, as you can see, we've been forming pretty well, lower lows and lower highs. So if we do break that to the upside, that to me is a strong indication that, okay, New Zealand CAD probably is going to keep pushing to the upside at this point. Maybe that was just a big fake out to trap participants on the wrong side. And now possibly we could be seeing a continuation right back to the higher low, which is all the way back at 0.86 as well. So there could be some really nice buys brewing up there for New Zealand CAD. I wouldn't look to get involved just yet because we're trading at that upper region, which could invite some sells. That's not really what you want to be looking for as a buyer, of course. and then you don't really want to sell there either because of where we're trading in the daily chart. Sure, this could be a nice sell, but given the context of the market, would I really want to take a short here, knowing that on the daily time frame, we've got this larger bullish channel, knowing that, of course, the daily time frame takes precedent, takes charge of the lower time frames. The higher the time frame, the more respect is shown. So at the same time, yes, we might see a sell here, but as we're coming back into such a big area of confluence, it does kind of ruin the quality of the opportunity. Therefore, I would stay away. But if you do see a breakout, then we do have time frames aligning with one another, because of course the daily chart we're bouncing at that low. Then if that happens, the 4 hour is breaking bullish again, so the daily and the 4 hour are aligned. At that point, pullbacks and retests will look good, and hopefully you can get a really nice swing trade all the way back up to 0.86 there. So there's a lot of upside to be had for New Zealand CAD, Aussie CAD as well if you do break higher. But yeah, I was waiting for price to break lower, but didn't quite get that move there. So kind of just on the fences, waiting for things to develop. But yeah, that's kind of my verdict with the CAD pairs. In terms of the other crosses, so yeah, like your pound Aussies, again, these pairs I haven't really gone into a lot of detail in, just because they're not quite. I keep hitting the mic today. What's going on? So yeah, in terms of the price action is not quite there for me in terms of a trend or a clear-cut direction. Not really seeing that develop very well here with pound Aussie on the higher time frames and the lower as well. Yes, there is a slight uptrend here with the higher lows, 1, 2, 3, potentially a fourth one there as well. So the market isn't very slow ascend here, but the fact is we did get to the highs previously. We wicked through them, did see a massive rejection. So it's not a sign of a healthy market, really. The fact is we're having a lot of trouble at the highs. So yes, we might still slowly push to the upside, but it's evidently not a healthy trend and not a market that's really seeing much force to the upside here as well. So in terms of opportunities for pound Aussie, I did suggest when we were there the first time, buys back down at this low make a lot of sense. And if you're looking to get into some more buys for pound Aussie, that's exactly where I'd wait for price to push into, right back down into that same area, and then again looking for the same bounce, because after all we have here for pound Aussie is a range. You got your highs of the range, you got your lows of the range, and all of this in the middle is just noise. So I'd very much want to stay away from all of this trouble, because that's where I know I'll lose money, I'll get stopped out, get taken out on a random wick, then see the market move my direction. That's where you're going to get a lot of that happening. Of course, that could happen anywhere in the market, but here's the market has to work a lot harder to do that. And you can base a better stop loss and a better entry at these prices as well. Every trade is always a risk. Every trade can always fail, but you want to make sure the market works very hard to do that. And that means taking trades at sensible areas and not just exposing yourself to unneeded risk. So yeah, with pound Aussie, this is kind of what I'll be looking at. Again, not a pair on my watch list, but you can see the high lows prices forming. So if you do spike back into this area, naturally could see another bounce there. It's a very similar setup in terms of pound NZD and of course pound Aussie. And pound NZD are very similar markets, of course. But I am looking at a similar trade opportunity on pound NZD, which is the higher lows here, which you can see one over there, second over there, third, fourth, looking for the fifth retest of that trend line and the retest of that high in that area of confluence. So naturally, as price keeps pushing, we could see another bounce at this area. And again, looking for a similar move there on pound Aussie. So these are kind of the ideas I'm looking at, looking for some bigger swings on the higher time frames. And that's some interesting areas where we can see those bounces. I like how corrective price is for pound NZD. Very, very, very corrective. So it tells me that there's not a lot of momentum to the downside. So if we do see a nice drop into that area, there's a good chance we're probably going to fight back and see a bit of a bounce there for the buyers. And that's really the trade I'm after for pound NZD. I'm not looking for anything crazy. I'm not looking to try and take it back to the highs on the left here. I will be trading stops, so maybe that's where price does get to. I'm looking for more of a bounce, book partials, book profits, probably be a bit aggressive with the trading stop losses because it's not a healthy trending market. It's not really a market like the yen pairs, which I'll just leave to trail and be very loose with. this one will be a bit more stubborn. But in terms of the area of interest, 2.125, a lot of confidence in that area, and I do like what I'm seeing. So if I can get some entries there, I'll be more than happy to take some buys. Like I said, it's a very similar setup to £2 Aussie. What's up, Apostle? Roland, hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. It has been a long time. Hope you've been well. Hope you've been keeping well, but glad to see you back on the stream. You're bear on Euro USD, bullish with pound CADs. Funny because I'm literally the opposite of both of those markets. But again, that's the beauty of trading. You don't have to be the same bias or whatever, because the chances are you're looking at different ideas, different time frames as well. So different things come into play. But with Euro USD, I'm really bullish on, and pound CAD, I'm really bearish on as well. Euro USD is not quite ready for a buy for me yet, but it's just trading in big areas on higher time frames where I do expect to bounce from. And pound CAD, we've seen a big drop on that one as well. So I'm looking for a pullback of that move on the 4-hour chart. We've seen a really big drop to the downside on pound CAD there, taking out some lows. So now I'm looking for a pullback for another sell. Hence why I'm pretty short bias on pound CAD. So that's the moves I'm interested in, but I'm sure you're probably looking at different moves on different time frames, which is why you have different biases. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with those two markets. So in terms of the other crosses, so we just went through pound Aussie and pound NZD. In terms of Euro Aussie and Euro NZD, so yeah, not a fan of these markets. With pound Aussie and pound NZD, there's a couple opportunities which I'm looking at. With these two, there's just nothing really at all. As I said, with Euro Aussie, there's a massive level of support here. Price is bouncing really well. I do want to see a bigger move to the upside before I do speak on some shorts for another move back down. I do think eventually price is going to break through the floor here and give us a really big move to the downside. But it's just not pulled away yet enough for me to start looking too short. This is still very bullish territory. A lot of buyers will be jumping to the market here. So I want price to kind of really pull away from all of that noise back into some bearish territory again. And then I can start to look for some sells. And as I said last week, the first area where you can probably say sellers are sitting at is probably 1.63356, which is this level just above us. So a push back into that area will make a lot of sense. And if you do break through that and have a deeper correction, then this will be the next best area around 1.655. So overall, looking at a pretty big move to the downside for Euro Aussie, but those are the prices I'll be looking at on Euro Aussie coming back to the downside. But I have to say, just don't like the pair at all, really. And it's definitely not on my watch list. But if I had to trade it at gunpoint, then that's what I'll be looking at. Appreciate it, Roland. Really appreciate it. Yeah. It's been a long road, long journey. It's still a very long way to go as well. But yeah, I'm happy the firm is finally released to the public and ready, onboarding traders as well. So a long way to go, but really do appreciate that, Roland. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Hey, what's up, Old Golden Bones? Welcome to the stream from the States. Hope you are doing well. Welcome to the stream. Any markets you're looking at, feel free to let us know. But happy to have you on the stream. Hope you've been keeping well. And of course, let me look at Euro NZD whilst we're at it. And I have to say, yeah, not much better. Actually, UNSD is not as bad. Still not a market which I'm looking to trade, not my watch list at all. But I do like the shorts a lot better here for UNSD because, again, this is another ranging market. You got equal highs there, roughly equal lows. And to me, it looks like price has come back into an area here, basically rejected that level. I do expect this to be a lower high for price to push right back down to the lows here and basically just see a continuation of that range. And almost like a big head and shoulder pattern, if you will. You got left, the head, and possibly a right shoulder there. So it kind of fits the mold of that. And you kind of got another head and shoulder pattern if you drop to the 4-hour chart. Um, Let me just get rid of that. So you got another head and shoulder pattern on the 4-hour chart, which of course is the left over here, the head, and the right shoulder there. So I do really like the neckline of this pattern because it's been such a pivotal level of support. If price can break through that, I do think the shorts look really, really good on the retest of that same level. And in terms of the risk reward, if we do see a full swing back to the low of the range, back to 1.745, looking at a really healthy trade there in terms of the risk reward. So I don't mind the setup as much. Again, still not on the watch list. Reason being is because we're consolidating. I don't like trading in the middle of a range. That's kind of the worst place, in my opinion, to find any trades, especially in FX. It's just very speculative and a lot of indecision there. So I try to stay as much as possible away from the middle of ranges and focus on the highs and lows if I'm looking to trade a range. Or just 9% of the time just look for trending markets, which it is trending on the lower time frames. It has its minor trends, but overall not enough for me to get excited about. But yeah, for Euro NZD, if we can break through the lows here, I do think there is a big drop to be had back to 1.745 and possibly lower as well. But yeah, still not a big fan of the opportunity at all. Yeah, experience has been very positive, to be fair, very positive. Of course, very there's a lot of components to a prop firm. It's not just myself. I do have a team who is operating and help run the firm. There's a lot of moving parts to it, a lot of things to take into consideration, but it's been a really exciting journey. And still a long journey to go. Still a lot of things to do, a lot of things I want to do with the firm, and still a lot of goals to achieve. But yeah, it's been great so far, and just looking to grow the firm, slowly, smoothly, and I'm really looking to make a difference in the industry. So it's been good so far, and I know there's better years to come with the firm. It's only just the beginning. We've only been operating for a couple of months now, so still very, very new, still very, very early. Okay, so in terms of the other crosses, let me take a look at Euro Pound. So again, not really one of my favorite pairs, I must admit, but it is trading in a really big level, which I do like because if we can hold into this, there is a big bounce to be had with Euro Pound. Possibly we could bounce off that low and see a really big move to the upside, which could be a start of a really big swing. Previously times we were trading at these prices, big move one, big move two, big move three. So there's a lot of upside potential from this level here, which is why I like the buys, especially as a swing trader, because if you do catch it right, it could be onto a really healthy swing for a whole month, really. So I like the buys. I like the area for the buys. Don't like the buys just yet because the market is still pretty bearish for Euro Pound. And in fact, we're coming back into some resistance now, which could actually sell us right back down into the lows there and continue its bearish path there. So the buys are definitely not quite ready yet for Euro Pound. And in fact, before I do take any bullish opportunities, I do want to see price actually go and break structure first, take out the highs, then pull back, and then I'll be looking for some higher lows. And I won't even be looking to take it too far. If I can get a push back to the higher there around 0.841, 412, I'll be a happy bunny because at that point you're still going to get a decent, probably 1 to 3 risk reward, which is a very, very healthy risk reward on a consistent basis. So yeah, Euro Pound still trading some big levels. I want to see some upside. I want to see price take out highs and then look for the pullbacks afterwards. That's really the move I'm looking for. At the moment in time, we're still kind of pretty consistent with the lower highs here. So in my book, there is no trade to be taken. And in fact, coming right now, we're actually testing some resistance, which could kickstart another sell move to the downside. So it's not ready to be bought yet, at least from a swing perspective anyway. Still a lot of development needed, but maybe that could happen in the next few days, and I'll keep an eye out for that. But that's still really the idea and the move I'm after. If you're looking to sell, here's the kind of place to do it, but I would wait for some evidence that we're rejecting that level first before jumping into any shorts. But that's still the buy opportunity I'm waiting for. In terms of Aussie New Zealand dollar, this is another pair which I actually kind of like as well. Again, I do have my criticism for this pair because it does have very, very choppy periods. And as a trader who looks to follow trends and looks to follow momentum, you're not going to find a lot of that with this type of market anyway. So it's always very difficult to find trades on a consistent basis with the Aussie New Zealand dollar. There are some very long spells where I don't even really look at the pair too much. But I have to say the areas we're trading in, it does look like price is really struggling at the highs here. So if that's the case, we could be on for a nice move to the downside. If this is the top of the range and price has had a couple attempts to try and break through the high, but both have failed, we could be on for a really nice sell-off, possibly back down to the low end of the range. So I like it for the reasons that we've kind of manipulated the highs and possibly we're on for a pretty big sell here. That's why I like Aussie New Zealand dollar, and for similar reasons is why I like dollar CAD as well, which I was mentioning towards the beginning of the stream. So if I do drop back to the 4-hour chart and look at the 4-hour price action, if we can go and break through some structure, aka this low here, I do really like the shorts here for Aussie New Zealand dollar. Nice little pullback, a lower high somewhere, and then that is really the trade I'm after, and that could really go as well. If this is going to be a big fake out, possibly could see price really sell off. So that's kind of what I'm looking for Aussie New Zealand dollars. Again, it's going to probably take a few days to develop because I need to break a structure first, and I need the pullback, and then I need to wait for the entry. So that could take a couple of weeks in itself, but I'm looking at a wide range of pairs, so there's no rush. And if I'm going to take a trade on Aussie New Zealand dollar, then it needs to be A1, especially in conditions like this where we do chop around a lot. So that's kind of what I'm after for Aussie New Zealand dollar. It's in a really nice location, so I will be patient because if I can get the trade, could be looking at a really nice runner. Because if this is price fake in the high of the range, then could be seeing move back down to 1.07, 1.06, maybe beyond. Of course, I will be trading stops really. So yeah, not gonna try and hit the home run in one go, but I will have that kind of protection for the trade and that management. What's up, the elf? Yes, I will have a look at pound yen for you. So yeah, with pound yen, still very bearish on this market, looking at a lot more downside. Overall, I'm looking for a push back down to 182, 183, which is back at the lows here. Again, the idea with pound yen and the other yen pairs as well, really, is that we've seen such a big drop here to the downside. Now I'm looking at a correction of that move for another big push back to 182. So the idea is that we had a big impulse in July. Now I've got a correction, and now I'm looking to see the continuation of that move. So there's the idea with pound yen. And in terms of getting opportunities to trade that, it's just looking for the pullbacks, really. Wow, we're looking bearish already. So I did say the pullback I'm after is the pullback to retest the low here. That's still what I'm looking for because I'm looking for the bigger pullbacks for pound yen and the other yen pairs, really. So this is still the pullback I'm after. Really nice impulse to the downside. 50, 0.618 in that area, retesting that prior low. That's where my interest lies. But I also said on the intraday timeframes, we might not see that pullback happen because the market is so bearish. And looks like the market is already kicking back bearish already. That's a lot of momentum there. We'll see how this candle closes in 16 minutes, but it is looking like we're probably going to close pretty strongly bearish. And looks like the market's on its way. It's come back to retest that range there. And now it's probably going to push on. And that's the key thing for the M pairs is that the markets have been so bearish. So the pullbacks I'm after are just difficult and hard to come by because there's just so much momentum to the downside. For us to see those big moves, we need to see some heavy bullish pressure come back to the market, which we just yet to see, yet to experience. Since the sell-offs have been happening. So pound yen is looking really bearish. Yeah, shorts look good with this one. Probably could have found some entries maybe in the 30-minute, 50-minute. Because if you're looking to short now in the hourly, the risk reward is a little bit skewed. But it looks like we could be seeing that momentum just continue, really. But in terms of direction, it's a no-brainer for me in terms of where I'm looking for the yen pairs to go, pound yen to go. It's all the way back down to 183, 182. So just looking at shorts, hopefully you can find some decent pullbacks on the way down. But really, I'm just expecting to continue to sell off. Is this particular to pound yen or the yen pair selling off? Yep, looks like your yen's making a move. Dollar yen making a move. CAD yen. Yep, making a move there as well. So yeah, it looks like all the yen pairs are pretty weak again at this point in time. So yeah, we're just seeing kind of minute pullbacks. I think CTFJPY might be a nice one to keep an eye out for a pullback. Come back to retest the low. Might give us a nice bearish engulfing candle there. Could be a nice entry this afternoon. But yeah, yen pairs just still so bearish. Nice pullbacks on the intraday time frames. Looks like we might see the next wave now. Hey, what's up, Kingsley? Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing good. Yes, all is good with myself. Thank you for asking. Yes, I can take a look at USDZAR and EuroZAR for you. Both pairs bullish. Okay, we'll take a look. Blessing. Just took a trade on Euro Yen sell. Okay, nice. Momentum is picking up, so hopefully that can sustain for you. But that's the key thing with the yen pairs. Momentum is already bearish. You're looking for the intraday pullbacks. The key thing with the trade is that you're expecting that bearish momentum to continue. If you start to see evidence of it not continuing, breaking structure, that's where you want to back off. And maybe we are going to see the bigger pullbacks, which is what I'm looking for across the board, which at the moment in time, not looking likely. So those areas, we might be seeing those highs, those retests come into play if we do take out a structure, but at the moment, we're not doing that. So yeah, shorts look good, and we could see another drop this afternoon, really. I would not be surprised because that's what we've been seeing consistently over the past few days. But yeah, hopefully we can see that that continue. Do you have a certain target, Blessing, of where you expect that trade to end up at, or are you just looking to trail and see where you can take it? But in the meantime, I'll go through USDZAR and EuroZAR. So yeah, USDZAR, you're asking, are both pairs bullish? So USDZAR, I do like the bias for this one because we have taken out a big low here. We've had a pretty nice reaction of that happening. So I'm looking for a bigger pullback, a bigger push to the upside for USDZAR. We might be bullish for the short term potentially, and then eventually for another big lower high and sell off. That could still be the case. But I do like the buys if the market was to have another push down, because we're consolidating a lot right now. If I whip out the old fib from the high to the low, so yeah, it would be nice if we can come back, retest the high here, retest the 50 as well. Take out this swing low here too, the low of the range. Kind of three birds, one stone here. Respect that area. That to me looks like a really nice trade around 17.85. So that to me looks like a nice opportunity for a buy, at least back to the highs there. Like I said, I wouldn't say USDZAR is bullish in terms of, okay, I'm expecting price to come back to the all-time highs now. But I would expect at least a bounce at those areas there. Really confident break of structure. We've taken out some key lows there. Momentum is shifting as well. And we left behind a really nice area of confluence for some buys. So if we can find some entries here, seeing them move back down into that low, I do think we can take a buy back into 1.835 and probably call it a day there. I don't know, maybe price does sell off from here and comes back down, but that's where I'll be confident in terms of a buy. But we might pierce that and then continue that larger bearish trend. So I would be careful with that. But in terms of bullish, that's what I'll be looking for. In terms of EuroZAR, let's see what this one's been doing. Okay, so we still haven't got that bigger pullback yet back into that area. Last time we spoke in EuroZAR, I think I was talking about some buys at the lower end of the low there. Didn't quite happen. Price pierced the low, tested that bigger range, and then pushed up. But again, the thing with fake outs, let's say if you did take a buy here, got stopped out, look for the re-entry, you then profit on that trade as well. So you make back the loss and then some. So overall, still a profitable opportunity, which is why it's so effective to get involved at the highs and lows of ranges, because even if the worst case scenario, which is you getting faked out, does happen, you can always look to re-enter when price comes back in within the range. And of course, now that you've got the fake out, there's a high chance we are going to see price push back to the upper end of the range, and that becomes a really nice trade. But yeah, anyway, euros are still looking very corrective. I think USDs is a much cleaner opportunity, I must say. Yeah, there are some nice areas here on the left, but still, I would be looking at a bit of a push to the upside now for Eurozar. Again, taking out some major lows here on the left. Let me move this out of the way. So yeah, I would be looking at pricing some upside now for Eurozar. So yeah, I think a nice buy would definitely be if price can break above this area here, especially with some nice momentum. So something like that, that's like a nice little trade. Take it back into that area because this is a very strong level of support. So that would be a nice target to have as well, around 19.6. But in terms of just getting away from all the noise, trying to find the entries in the middle of the range is always difficult. So if we can break the high of the range, that'd be great. Retest that, and then yeah, targets back at 19.6. But I think USDR looks very, very clean. If we can see the pullback back into that area. But yeah, I would be bullish on both of them, to be honest. Hey, what's up, Tony Gold? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Okay, 156.454. Let's see where that is. So 156.454. Okay, so pretty much the low. Pretty much the low. So yeah, pretty reasonable target. Not looking for anything crazy. It's a kind of an intraday trade. You're looking at intraday, intra-week trade. You're back into the prior low. It makes a lot of sense, and there's a good chance we do get there as well. So yeah, I have to say I like the trades. You're looking to trade the momentum which you're seeing. The market's fallen quite a lot, so I do expect a bigger pullback at some point, but momentum still looks to be bearish. So if that sustains, you probably are going to push back into the lows there. Hopefully you do hit your target there too. So I do like the trade. You're taking advantage of momentum. And hope you can go and hit that level. I mean, I'm expecting price to get to 156, 155 flat. So in my opinion, there's still a lot more downside to be had for Euro Yen. Just haven't seen the pullbacks which I've been after, unfortunately. But hopefully that trade can play out for you, blessing. All right, no problem, Lord. Have a good one. We'll catch you tomorrow. If you guys have enjoyed the stream, drop a like. It does really help out. But yeah, Euro Yen looking like a really nice sell, and it looks like we're kind of seeing that across the board. So yeah, it's been difficult to find the re-entries I've been after. And again, some trades don't give you re-entries. You know, I know from my back testing that some trades you catch and then just keep going. Some trades and they give you 2, 3, 4 re-entries. You really don't know. It's just how the price develops. And arguably, it already has given me some opportunities for re-entries. You know, pullbacks to these areas. You know, it's technically an opportunity to re-enter the position, but it's just I look for deeper corrections. So it's not something I look to trade myself. But on the lower time frames, it's been some nice pullbacks there. On the hourly chart, 30-minute chart, 50-minute chart, you know, it has been some nice pullbacks there to trade. It's just not a time frame which I look at myself. But yeah, the momentum is there, and I do expect us to fall. And I think it really does stem from that weekly chart. As you can see, such a strong close last week. Let me just get rid of that wick there just to clean things up. You can see such a strong close last week. This is CAD Yen. Such a strong close last week. So the chances of this week seeing another bearish close is just pretty high. And there's pretty high chance we see a strong close as well. You know, I know Tuesday we're trading up here, but by Friday we could be down here potentially. I think that's a reasonable shout, to be honest, for us to be down there. So yeah, we could see price really drop for the yen pairs, CAD Yen in particular. Momentum is looking very strong. So I think the minor pullbacks we're seeing are good plays given what we're seeing on the higher time frames as well. Andrea, what's up? Pound USD go to 1.285. That's what I'm looking for. Which is back to that 4-hour level, 1.285, this area here. So that's what I'm looking for pound USD to move into. I would have looked for an entry, but I mean, I was looking for an entry, but the entry wasn't really fit my plan because the risk reward is very skewed. If I do get an entry on that high, stop loss a little bit below the low, I'm looking at 1 to 0.8 back into the high there. So the risk reward is a little bit skewed. I need at least a 1-to-1 for me to commit to a trade, so I can actually walk away with a healthy space to move my stop loss to break even. I don't want to be too aggressive, so I'm looking to see if pound USD can push one more time to the downside, because I'm looking to see maybe if the dollar can push one more time to the upside. It hasn't hit the 50 yet, so I think, well, I hope more than think. I hope we can have one more push up before we do get the sell. I have to admit, dollar is looking pretty bearish now. I like the wick to the upside. It looks like we're about to see a strong close in the next 4 minutes there. So maybe DXY is just going to sell off from the current price. But pound USD isn't giving me a lot of room to work with, so I haven't found an entry yet. But yeah, I do think the bigger move for pound is to the upside. And I am looking at price pushing back to 1.285. It looks like we formed a really nice higher low here. Low there, sorry. Lower low, lower low there again. And now the higher low after the break of structure. So the inverse head and shoulder, to me, looks like it's in full swing. And now we can see a push all the way back to that high. So, yeah, very bullish on pound USD, expecting another big push. And I think there is a lot of room for us to move into, especially if dollar is going to hold that 107 level, which looks likely at this point in time. Bena FX, okay, GJ, we'll take a look at that one as well. So yeah, GJ, I'm expecting a little downside back into the low here at 182. Looks like we are seeing the continuation of that drop in July. This is the pullback of it. Now I'm expecting the continuation back to the low and probably a lot further as well. But for now, we'll just talk about the low here. We've seen a big drop as of late for GJ. A lot of momentum. I'm still looking for a bigger pullback back into 194, 193 area, back into that 0.5, 0.618 of the fib, retesting that low there too. So that's really where my confidence lies up there. But I have to admit, price just looks really bearish, and I don't think we're going to see such a big pullback. You know, the lower time frame pullbacks is kind of what's been at play, and looks like we're seeing that happen again this morning as well. So looks like we are getting a retest of that low, and possibly we are going to see a continuation back into the low there as well, and just see that momentum on the intraday just continue really. Very consistent lower highs as I highlight them. Looks like we might just be seeing another one print there as well. And if that's the case, then these are your targets back at the low, 188.5. Maybe you can leave some positions to run a little bit if we do continue. But yeah, the move looks like we are going to see something like that now. So yeah, pound yen, very bearish bias as well. If you're intraday, you're looking to kind of just short those highs, trade that momentum. If you're looking for a bit more of a swing position, then you're kind of waiting for a bigger pullback to step into the market, which may or may not happen, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, 193, 194 is kind of the areas I'm looking to take some shorts and hopefully get a nice swing all the way back down to 183. And the risk reward looks very, very generous there. So if it does happen, it'll be a trade which I just sit in and let the market do all the heavy lifting, which is exactly what I'm doing with CAD yen. So hopefully I can find that pullback, but I'm not too sure if I will at this rate, which I can't complain, to be honest. I used to do have that position. So yeah, in terms of the watch list, there's really a lot of yen pairs on it, just looking for those bigger corrections, but also pound CAD is on it as well. I'm very, very I really like the shorts here with pound CAD. Really nice structure to the downside. Looks like we're going through a pretty corrected pullback now. There's a nice area of confluence here. Really solid level of support. Lines up pretty well with my 0.618 on the fib too. So if price can have a bigger stab to the upside, that'll be very much that will be helpful. Tag that area, maybe nice double top, come into the market and get some shorts all the way back to the low. That very much is the plan here with pound CAD. Nice double top at the highs over here previously. Big break of structure. Looking to try and catch the first lower high there. No problem, Ben at FX, happy to help. So that really is the plan there with pound CAD. It's a really nice opportunity. It's on the watch list. It's the most realistic trade I'll probably take this week, to be honest, because like I said, the yen pairs probably won't give me the pullback I'm after. But pound CAD is in full swing. The pullback's looking good. ICE area of confidence just above us. Hopefully, you can find some entries later this week. And get some entries. I'll keep an eye on EuroCAD as well. It looks good too. Pound CAD looks a little bit better, but I don't know. Maybe EuroCAD might give me a better entry, and the risk reward might look a little bit better. So maybe I'd take EuroCAD instead. But pound CAD looks very, very good. And that's really my main focus this week. And of course, keep an eye on the yen pairs too. So hopefully you can find some entries later on. But we will see. If I do get a trade, I'll let you guys know in the Telegram. And of course, make sure you're in the Discord there. I do share opportunities and what I'm looking at. Of course, other traders do as well. So if you are interested, make sure you go check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, which is completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat and also in the description below. But guys, I really do appreciate you tuning in to another live stream. I'm live every day this week as usual, every weekday as usual, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you are free, pop in, say hi. Have a nice discussion with us. We don't bite, but I do appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you did enjoy the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Have a great Tuesday, guys. Stay safe in the markets, and I'll catch you all in the next one.